This is Dr. TPS from Hyderabad. I think I'm talking to the monitor on a talk on yoga. The notice says that Manushi Institute of Yoga conducting 100-day countdown to International Day of Yoga 2026. Thank you for the invitation. I think I was asked to speak on a topic, yoga related to AI. I wanted to name it a path to sovereign intelligence or something like that, probably. This is yoga is what gives a safe, cool, purposeful life building mechanism. As per the yoga prayer, it talks about, as per Patanjali or whatever is being called, yogena chittasya padena vaja malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena yopakarottam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliratasmi. Here it talks about yogena chittasya. That means it is something to do with emotion. Chit is like an akash. Manam darpana samanam, Shankara says. So that means it is to control understand the feelings and emotions, etc. Today's world, all that what is to be done with intelligence is being taken care of by computers. But yoga has a great role to play because today's world, it says AI will help you only if you know how to ask questions. Prompt engineering is more important. So where do the yoga plays a role in AI? Yoga plays a role in AI in the prompt engineering. Why? Yogena chittasya, the question should come from the manas. Then the question will come perfect. But that, if you don't know how to communicate, you are going to be a failure. So the basic yoga concept, which talks about yogena chittasya padena vaja. How do you communicate your feelings, emotions, questions perfectly? That is more important in the context of AI. But not the yoga what is being practiced by the physical exercise. The real sense of yoga. The tradition of yoga, if you look at it, it has gone to dilutions. Therefore, when I say yoga and AI relationship, those people who understand only the physical exercise of yoga will get confused. That is why I started giving the real essence of yoga. Now coming to the tradition and what has happened to yoga over a period of time. We have to see that because we are talking about the futuristic yoga or the today's status of yoga in the relevant world of AI, or maybe today, how is it relevant? Yoga has never been static because it has become a ritual. It's a living practice. For some time, it is a breathing practice. Sometimes it has become a area-based, era-based, people-based, center-based. So many fascinations around it, starting from maybe Patanjali to probably in the Mysore Palace where Iyengar modified that into the gymnastic yoga, which is being practiced today. There are hot yoga, different, Dhyana yoga, Raja yoga, Patanjali yoga, called name many are there. Ancient seated practices, that means Sthira Sukha Asana. In the primitive physical demanding people to sit with all the difficulty, giving strain to the legs on the floor. There are so many errors in that. If you look at sitting Dr. TPS on yoga, you can see some small videos. The clarity comes through the stillness. The stillness is which is more convenient to you. The yoga evolved as a practice of physical fitness to the mental navigation. How do you survive in the hardship? Not that peaceful people or make people to be dull and then soft and calm and cool and no work. Close your eyes is not yoga. It is open your eyes and take challenges, make yourself fit for the hardships to come in life. The tantric shift of yoga, the life become more structured. The practice shifted towards the celebrating the embodied life, bringing movement, breath practices, etc., etc. Okay, it becomes another shift in the yoga. The modern fusion yoga probably teachers like Krishnamacharya fused these traditions to address the globalization so that market, and it has become a business, make money out of this. It has opened a gateway, the body as a gateway to reach the mind, distracted by an accelerating world. Probably you are more able to market because of this concept of yoga. Probably in the 2026 pivot, today when we speak, the fitness boom has little lost its fantasy. People have become more interested in resting, taking rest. The food habits have changed. Maybe Korea is more better to make you fit than the Indian yogi bulky masters whom you see around at the age of 60. They start yoga, and sweating and toiling has become the part. You cannot bend your body. Why do you bend your body unnecessarily? I don't understand. No. The era of information loaded and artificial intelligence world, the physical, sedentary, probably the mentally exhausted people are more than the rest of the people in the world. And we are connected to the cloud and the disconnected from our breath itself. Therefore, why do you want to do such practices will be the basic question which people will ask. The future of yoga is not about being replaced by a robot. See that on the computer, the robot will do the gymnastics and then you follow it. Yogasana, Shavasana by, or maybe Malsyasana by the robot, and then you start doing it because it has become a computer based yoga now. The yoga practice is not physically checking the breath rate by the guru sitting beside you. The Upanishad itself has gone. There is nobody sitting beside you. Upanishad is not there. Therefore, it is becoming more inhuman job than a human job. Basic idea, I'm giving a lecture on internet and Zoom, and then people are seeing it on mobile. That is not yoga. So there is a digital paradox which is happening today. The context of the global epicentric AI revolution, a unique digital paradox. What is being happened to the confusion? The operationalizing AI faster than what people could have thought about it. There is a saying, if I have to move single step, one step plus one step, one step like that, 30 steps, I will reach 30. Whereas if I move every step, the double the step what I have taken in the first. That means 1, then 2, then 4, then 8. The 30 steps will be able to take me around the world. Got it? So, 30 steps can take me around the world in this today's, because everything is doubled. The everything what could happen today can happen in the touch of a world, including determining somebody's death in sitting in from America. People can kill the people in the Iran. That's what is happening today. In that world, Where is that information communication which has been thought about by the Patanjali become so valid today? The exponential curve of technology, the capacity building has changed quite a lot in this world, and fit or flight response has come. Fit for capability building. The question of survival in the wild world, where am I going to take the food or am I the food myself, is a question. Am I using the algorithm or the algorithm is going to use me? AI is such, the algorithm is you're going to use me. So if I don't know the communication properly, if I don't know how to think properly, I will not be able to do that. So physical yoga concept probably will have less relevance, and the more relevance will be on the Yogacharya's definition of Yogena Chittasya Padena Vaja. Think louder, think bigger, think diagonally, think elaborately, and ask questions in the perfect style will be the yoga, which will be more relevant in the AI world. That's what I call it as the sovereign AI, the original AI, the original yoga. Everything is blended together to the sovereign intelligence. The yoga offers a sovereign intelligence for the development of the nation. The nation gets built by the digital world if people don't mix their heart with that. It is artificial intelligence. Artificial heart will never come. So the data is there. The darshana, the past data, which is provided for the darshana, the vision, for the eternal present and the future of, has to be decided by the thought process of the people. The outer power and the inner power connect. How are you going to connect this outer power and the inner power? That is yoga. That can be through Jnana Yoga. I'm sure the four pillars of the inner strength, as we all know, is the Jnana Yoga. It is not the physical gymnastics or the monkey's job. I'm talking about Jnana Yoga. Discriminate between the real, eternal, and the unreal, most fluctuating digital world. Unreal is the most fluctuating digital world. Real world is the internal me, who is supposed to react to the external changing world. That is Jnana which is required today, for which you have to be a yogi with a AI concept inside, a technology concept inside. My book on human beyond AI explains all these concepts, the recently which I wrote. The bhakti yoga, which total devotion, it is not bottled up by the mission driven logic. It is opened up with the emotional flow, with the heart opening up with a lot of quest. That is where I said prompt engineering. The Bhakti Yoga will give you a prompt engineering to identify the real guru, who is not Yogacharya by certificate, by knowledge. The Karma Yoga is not closing the eyes when things are happening around the world. You cannot close your eyes. A yogi is one who thinks about what is happening around the world. That is why yogis have been kept as advisors for kings traditionally in the Bharatiya style. Every Rama also had a yogi, Vasishta, as an advisor. He was a great specialist on the mind management. Every king traditionally in India, Bharat, had somebody who directs, encourages, motivates the king to become in action. No yogi said, close your eyes and sit idle and then do what is called no samadhi in the today's world meditation. No, the karma yoga, acting with a purpose, is the yoga. What is yoga? Karma yoga. What is karma yoga? Acting with a purpose. offering work as a prayer. Work is the prayer, and not to avoid the work. So today AI thinks beyond what we can think. People have become AI fatigue. No, we should go above artificial intelligence and then direct to the algorithms, not the algorithm will direct to the people. So we must be able to define our agents. AI agent generation must be the ability of the modern scientist who converts a person thinking like a yogi, or maybe converted as a yogi, or a yogi learning all the algorithms and the methodologies of artificial intelligence to term himself as. That's why I made my heading as YOGA and A and small I. Yoga I, yogi. That should be the method. Raja Yoga, probably watching the breath, finding the miracles of life, no self-replacing, but understanding the mimic of how this body is working for me to become more active in the world. So the digital vrittis, activities, vritti is the action, the activity, the chitta vritti nirodha, the chitta vritti nirodha, as Patanjali defined yoga, as no fluctuations. Today we face new digital fluctuations. Information is overloaded. Algorithm create the constant stream of content, leading to the mental clutter. The comparison trap, the mission curated perfection on social media creates digital anxiety. Understand, there is a digital anxiety. So there is a comparison trap, mission versus social media versus human being. And how do I understand this? How am I going to take it up in my life? Algorithmic bias. AI has got bias. Our mental programming, debugging. This is a process which only people with high intellectual, high emotional, high spiritual, high social ability can tackle this problem. So the wisdom part of what is to be done, what is not to be done. Wisdom is in the background. No, wisdom has to come to the foreground. The consciousness in the background. No, the consciousness have to come in the forefront. We have no role models today. Probably the AI expert should become a yogi, a scientist should become a yogi, or yogi should become a scientist. That was India's tradition. It's a combination of a social knowledge, spiritual knowledge, intellectual knowledge, and emotional activity with a physical strength. So, what we can do, how we can think, do to one child, then the whole human race can change. So, what do I do to make somebody better? One individual. That is what Ramakrishna did for Swami Vivekananda. We need somebody who will change the world with some sample, one sample at least. Not marketing the activity and then serving to 1,000 people. I'm in search of somebody who will learn so sincerely, so systematically, so dedicated. That is yoga. That is what is actually the yatna. Yatna bhava means you go deeper and deeper. That is what is mission learning, deep learning. Today we learn. That is the basis of artificial intelligence. Understand, deep learning is the yatna bhava in learning with the devotion. Both Sankhya Yoga, Jnana Yoga in the Bhagavad Gita explains this with no ambiguity. If you read this through that, listen to my Bhagavad Gita lectures. Probably the talk which I am giving today will make more sense if you understand the Bhagavad Gita yoga concept. Therefore, solving the 2026 anxiety, we need a safe, cool, purposeful, apply Shakti in stillness, a mental safety, a chitta prasadana. That is more important. AI triggers dopamine loops, yoga in the antidote, the digital pratyahara, withdraw from the screen samsara. The 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look very carefully. The feet away for 20 seconds. The anchor it with the pranayama cycle. The institution versus logic. The A is purely logical. Yoga develops the pradibha, intuition, the ability to trust your inner gut feeling. The tummy is what is the gut, comes from the gut feelings. That's why the name came. The inner gut with the data overwhelming, the intuition which works with the gut feeling which you have, that is what the pratibha, the intuition a yoga should have. The intuition versus logic, that will work perfectly. Arjuna did not have this intuition. That is why he wanted to have lectures from Krishna. Therefore, the confused, sad Arjuna from the Vishadam yoga, that is more Vishada yoga, starting yoga, he gets into a person with more clarity, devotion, spiritual, atmiyata. All these are part of it. The physical safety, the kaya shariram, the sedentary crisis which AI automates the labor. Now people don't want to be physically more strong. We have got a slim beauty role models from different parts of the world. All that is possible. The alignment of yoga AI, the yoga provided by the bliss Ananda, which looks at the probably the Bhujangasana, Matsyasana, or all that specific things should get into the technological neck which we have to solve the problems, not the physical, but a ideological, a conceptual, mythological aspect have to be driven today. The society is the Sangha, probably the Buddha's view of Sangha. The people, group of people, the satsang activity, with the people who think not in the normal style, think beyond the syllabus, beyond the normal thought process. Then the human presence is felt. AI will identify people with deep thinking, with a lot of centers of yoga. The other day was Shankara's birthday. We were discussing about the Sankhya concept, the Vedanta concept, and the humanistic approach which Shankara had. Therefore, it is still surviving in this world. With a lot of things happened, many things have been lost, but Shankara philosophy still is alive because the social sanctions of such a thought process. So I'm sure we need to think in these modes, not in the mission mode. What the technology change happens, the vibrations, the thought process, the real take, the thinking what we have beyond and around it to create a cool life. The framework is living with wisdom. How do you change the role in the AI yoga or AI for yoga and the yoga for AI? There are AI for yoga can be, you can have an app, all the posters which can be with a robotic method, people can follow. No person is required, we can duplicate in the same style. One lecture is enough on each of the asanas. All that people can track, spread it across, people can learn from the best AI yoga master. Yoga for AI is what I am talking now. The developing the ethics and the focus and building agents for the purpose for which your job demands from you. That is for the karma activity. In the benefit, the precision and the physical alignment is possible when you use AI for yoga. I am talking about yoga for AI, the precision, the clarity to prevent the burnout, AI fatigue, everything will go. I will not be bugged up with a lot of data sets. I know how to focus. That is what Krishna talked to Arjuna. Abhyasena tu kaunteya. More important is abhyasam. What abhyasam? Not the physical abhyasam. Krishna was talking to Arjuna to focus on what you want. When you focus on to that ananyaschintayanto mam, yejana paryupasade, who focuses without having different thoughts, they will get benefit. Therefore, what are the limitations? You cannot transmit prana or empathy. AI will be failure. But yoga for AI, a consistent, disciplined practice, abhyasa, like abhyasa and the kaunteya, such practices from the disciplined lectures of a great guru will give little wisdom over intelligence. Therefore, that wisdom will be able to lead the intelligence in the right direction. The real value shift to the wisdom and not to the knowledge which is generated by the AI. That is where how to use the power of AI in the right way, ethical way, through the Indian knowledge system. That is where maybe I started teaching Indian knowledge system, Indian heritage 26 years back. Government of India now taken a lot of initiative in Indian knowledge system. It gives a template for creating a responsible AI if, again, that is not done as an academic adventure, academic process, academic reproduction, but a deep knowledge in the Indian knowledge system. Understand the responsibility of AI, a non-violent ahimsa, a cool, calm, and truthful satya. That is where yoga stands. Non-violence, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Understand in that concept of 8 steps of the Ashtanga Yoga. I'm sure the integrated future, the future is not man versus mission. It is a mindful human to use the intelligent mission. A mindful, a heartful, a feelingful, emotionally activated. That is why artificial intelligence, the meaningful mission. But the people have to be meaningful with a lot of wisdom, lot of good advices, lot of good compassion and passion to do job, serve the society, not for war. Otherwise, all these AI will be used for bad purposes. So ultimately, utilizing the technology with the being enslaved by, no, not being enslaved by the technology, but the human controlling. That is why I said human beyond AI. That is my book. We are choosing between the Himalayan cave and the Silicon Valley lab. We are bringing the cave into the lab. That's why most of the technology people wanted to get into the caves. We want to bring those technology into the caves. So that is why yoga and I. In that look towards the 2030, we are not in the 21st century. We are in the third decade of 21st century. Look at 3, 2, 1 world defined by Dr. TPS. You will see a lot of videos, a lot of books written around it. The most successful individual won't just do a AI code, but decode the inner self. That is what yoga does. Therefore, the AI code becomes much more useful and practical with an operating system done by a decoded inner self. That is where the upgrade should happen. The wisdom people, the satsang, such activities like lectures like this should ensure that our missions get smarter, but our soul becomes more peaceful. Today, mission gets smarter, the inner self, the manas, the buddhi, everything gets confused. That needs to be resolved. The more possibility of looking at it, the yoga concept in this style will be the new yoga age. That will have lot of demand. The more powerful our technology becomes, the more essential our inner silence becomes. The concentration should be for the inner self, inner silence. I am from the Himalayan tradition, Swami Rama's disciple. The action for activity, we call it not a closed eye samadhi. Samadhi for action, meditation for work. That is more important. As the trainers who are work under this, the training center for the yoga, not the poses, you are teaching the human resilience. You are providing the tool for navigating the world with artificial intelligence, with a brain which is authentic sovereign intelligence. Don't give this to somebody else and become a slave there. Let the brain become so active with your E effective and A effective. Look at E bracket A effective learning and teaching methodologies. Many millions of teachers where I have addressed all of them. I only look at E effective and A effective, which produces not the digital slaves, but the individuals who will empower the AI and AI agents and deep learning with the grace of a great yogi who is a real yogi master of tomorrow. This is what I wanted to tell my friends who are all active in this center of learning. I wish all the best for the 100-day yoga series of lectures here. Thank you so much. God bless you. Namaskaram. Pranams.